Quentin Tarantino knows his way around a movie, especially when it comes to westerns. The man behind Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight has a deep love for the genre, and if you're looking to dive into some classic westerns, why not start with the ones he thinks are essential? Here are the only 10 westerns you need to watch, according to Tarantino. During the Civil War, 3 outlaws learn of a missing treasure. To find it, they unite and betray each other, because in the Wild West, it's every man for himself. This film serves as the backstory for A Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, completing the famous Dollars trilogy. Tarantino's love for the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as for the team of Sergio Leone and Ennio Morricone, is well known. He often lists it among his favorite movies, and it holds the top spot on his list of the 20 greatest spaghetti westerns of all time. Tarantino finally worked with Morricone as the composer for The Hateful Eight, but he has used many of Morricone's tracks in previous films, including Kill Bill and Django Unchained.
Coming loose! Coming loose! You can still save yourself. Let me go and I'll pardon you. Let me go! I feel sick. The blood is bursting through my head. I'm dried, man. Water.
The Howard Hawks classic features a star-studded cast including John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, and Angie Dickinson. Based on a short story of the same name, Rio Bravo is about a sheriff in Rio Bravo, Texas, who seeks the help of a cripple, a drunk, and a gunman to fend off a gang of hired guns sent in to break a prisoner out of jail. Among the fans of Rio Bravo is Tarantino, who dubbed Rio Bravo one of the greatest hangout movies, a movie he watched for the first time when he was only 5 years old with his great-grandmother.
But he ain't gonna be, and neither are you, unless you do as you're told.
Stay back here.
We're going down to the jail. You're gonna turn Joe Burdette loose, or you and your deputy are gonna quit worrying about this whole thing.
Just keep coming, mister.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
The late 60s marked a turning point for American cinema, with an increase in violence and explicit content. The Wild Bunch is a key film from that era, serving as a kind of farewell to old-school westerns. The story follows a group of notorious criminals pursued by a former gang member turned lawman, whose mission is to capture a corrupt Mexican general and bring him to justice. In addition to Italian spaghetti westerns, Tarantino also favors revisionist American examples of the genre, highlighting Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch as one of the director's best works.
Hey, they was playing Gather at the River. You know that one? Say that!
Shall we gather at the river, when bright angels be kept dry?
The story follows John McCabe, a gambler who opens a brothel in a small town with the help of Constance Miller, an English traveler and drug addict. The beautiful landscapes, hypnotic atmosphere, and the director's refusal to adhere to traditional genre conventions make this film one of the best westerns of the 70s. Tarantino himself admitted that the movie eventually draws you in, and the entire ending is just kind of perfect.
Is there something I can do for you?
Do you have anything to eat? I'm bloody starving. Took 6 hours to get up here in that flipping contraption.
Well, you have to forgive me. My kitchen ain't in operation yet, but I could take you up to the restaurant up there if you're hungry enough.
I'm hungry enough. I could eat a bloody horse.
Well, at Sheehan's place, you probably will.
Django is the story of a former soldier who becomes embroiled in a conflict between American soldiers and Mexican bandits. The action in Sergio Corbucci's film takes place several years after the end of the Civil War. Upon its release, Django generated considerable controversy due to its graphic violence, but it has since become a true cult classic. Tarantino has praised Django for its accurate depiction of societal tensions and has openly expressed his admiration for the film. His own movie, Django Unchained, borrows heavily from Corbucci's classic, including the use of the Django name, Bakalov's score from the original 1966 film for the opening, identical typeface for the title sequence, and even a cameo by Franco Nero, the original Django actor. Following the success of Django, Sergio Corbucci created a dark, revisionist road movie about a Confederate family's journey with a coffin full of stolen money, which they plan to use to raise an army and reclaim the South. Despite his admiration for Corbucci's entire filmography, Tarantino particularly highlights the Hellbenders, not just alongside Django, for its portrayal of a world devoid of positive characters, each of whom, as Quentin himself put it, is effed up.
Open it.
Please.
Never mind, let it be.
You did well, daughter.
Better than the one you killed?
Lord, yes.
And I've got her clothes on.
Colonist Lynn McAdam is determined to track down his father's killer and recover the unique rifle that was stolen from him, the Winchester 73. In his quest, he encounters a variety of desperate characters, including a psychotic highwayman, an amoral smuggler, and a fierce young Indian chief. Tarantino has admitted that Anthony Mann is one of his favorite Western directors, and Winchester 73 is his favorite film by this talented master.
What are you gonna do?
Right ahead and find help.
Steve, what if I leave?
I'll get help.
Steve! Steve, come back! Steve!
Navajo Joe is another Sergio Corbucci film that received a special mention from Tarantino. The director calls it one of the greatest revenge films in history, noting the dark and violent atmosphere Corbucci created in the film. The movie stars Burt Reynolds as a Native American, avenging his tribe after seeing them slaughtered by bandits. From the start, the film was plagued by misunderstandings. Corbucci thought Marlon Brando was going to star, and Burt Reynolds thought the movie was going to be directed by Sergio Leone. Reynolds had often commented on how much he hated the film and felt it was his most unprofessional work. Despite Reynolds' distaste for it, Tarantino included it in his list of favorite spaghetti westerns and even borrowed from the Ennio Morricone soundtrack.
An Indian sheriff? The only ones elected in this country are Americans.
My father was born here. Where was your father born?
What has that to do with it?
I said, where was he born?
In Scotland.
My father was born here in America. His father before him, and his father before him, and his father before him. Now, which of us is American?
A tale of revenge, Death rides a horse pits Bill in a race against Ryan to kill the men Bill watched slaughter his own family when he was a child. But Ryan just spent 15 years in jail on account of the same men and is looking for some justice himself. Tarantino has cited Death Rides a Horse as one of his favorite westerns and borrows from it for Kill Bill. He uses pieces of Morricone's score, recycles the film's famous line, "Revenge is a dish served cold," uses the same revenge plot line, and when the bride is ready to take revenge on any of the deadly Viper assassination squad, there's a close-up of her eyes and an orange flashback, the same as Bill's in Death Rides a Horse.
Remember, Kavanaugh, 15 years ago at the Mesita Ranch? You and your friends killed everybody. But you forgot one thing. To kill me.
Wild West, 1869. Bandits kill the brother of lawyer John Reed. Determined to seek justice, he becomes a masked vigilante aided by the eccentric Indian Tonto on his adventures. The Lone Ranger first appeared as a radio play in 1933 and was later remade as a TV series. Gore Verbinski, the creator of Pirates of the Caribbean, attempted to revive the franchise, but the producer's plans fell short. The movie failed at the box office. Despite its commercial failure, the film impressed Tarantino, who praised this modern Western, particularly the final train scene, which he believed demonstrated that the movie's failure was undeserved.
Attaboy. Yes, thank you. Okay, come.